everyone. I thought I'd do a little like phalloplasty update where everything is kind of at. I went for my consultation a couple weeks ago. Um, the surgeon checked the nerves in my left arm to make sure my arm was usable as a donor site, and it is. Um, Everything is kind of just good to go. I'm ready to go whenever they are. It's looking like it's going to be about a year before the first stage. I'm fine with that. That's cool. But what I really want to talk about today is electrolysis slash laser hair removal on my arm. So the surgeon I'm going to, it says very explicitly, do not start laser or electrolysis before your consultation. I don't know why, it doesn't say why. I'm assuming it's because if your arm cannot be used as the donor site, they don't want you wasting your time and money doing laser and electrolysis if you can't actually use your arm for surgery. Um, that's just my assumption. It doesn't actually say. It just very explicitly said in the papers they sent me, do not start before your consultation. It did, however, say that if you want, it would be a good idea to go and have a consultation with a hair removal technician so that you have an idea of how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, like all that kind of stuff. So that you could bring that to your consultation with the surgeon and let them know kind of the answers to those questions and get a better idea of when surgery can happen. So I decided to do that. There's a place that is advertised very explicitly on their website that they're LGBT friendly, they work with lots of trans people, and all welcome, kind of whatever. And so I decided, well, of course I'll go there. So I did. I went for the consultation. Um, the salon was very nice, but I entered the salon and nobody was in there. It was completely dead. Like there was not an employee, there was no one. And I was like, okay, I kind of like cleared my throat, see if someone's in a back room or something, whatever. I sat down in like the waiting room area and just kind of waited for a little bit. I waited like 20 minutes and was like, okay, maybe there's a back office or something I'm missing. I kind of wandered back farther and was like peeking around corners and stuff to like see if someone was there. Nothing. I searched around to find the salon's phone number so I could call and see if someone would answer the phone or if I would hear a phone ringing even. I called, nothing. And I went outside, thought maybe there's a side door or something. I don't know, maybe they do the consultation somewhere else. Nothing. Went back in, waited. I bussed for over an hour to get here, to get to the appointment. So I was like, well, I'm not leaving until I get an answer, right? So I waited over an hour past my appointment time and just kind of like, I don't know what to do here. I was starting to get really upset. And finally, a woman walks through the door, the front door, and sees me and goes, oh, do you have an appointment? And I was like, yeah, I've got a consultation. She goes, okay, 1 second, goes and puts her stuff away. No mention that she's over an hour late. I then realized she owns the place and is the only person that works there. And we just go for the consultation. I don't know if she got the time wrong or something, but I have an email that tells me exactly that she emailed me the night before and said, this is when we're meeting, and still came over an hour late. So I was a little bit shaken by that. Went in for the appointment, told her, and I had been honest from the beginning. I'm having genital surgery. I need this arm cleared of hair permanently. I went in. She told me how things work. She suggested that I do a couple rounds of laser first to get rid of a bit of the hair, see if we can get rid of some of it, so that then we can go in with electrolysis afterward and get the remaining hair. Electrolysis is apparently more painful and definitely more expensive, so they want to get rid of as much hair as possible before they have to use electrolysis. So I then asked, so how long is this going to take? And she said, minimum 2 years. And I almost started crying. Like my heart stopped, and I just couldn't believe that that was the answer. I don't know, on YouTube and the people I've talked to who've had phalloplasty, they all get their hair removed on their arm like within 10 months from what I've seen and what people have told me. So I was really, really shaken when she was like, it's going to take minimum 2 years to get rid of the hair. And I just didn't, I was like, I told her, I said, I was not expecting that number. I wasn't expecting that time frame. And she said, yeah, well, it's best to just start as soon as possible. And I just said I'm not allowed to. Like I can't start until the consultation. And if I could have started 2 years ago when I started the paperwork for phalloplasty, I would have done it. Because then I would have been completely bald by the time I went for the consultation and been ready for surgery right away. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, well, it's best to just start earlier." And so I went, okay. And I was at this point like almost starting to bawl because I was so upset. I was not expecting 2 years. And I was really, really upset. And then she also said, like, while she was going over it, I've run into this at like plastic surgery places too, where they don't realize who they're talking to. And I'm not here for fun. I'm not here because I want to be hairless. I'm here because I have to be. And she just kind of said like, "Oh, you're gonna be really smooth, like right after the treatment or whatever, and then before the hair goes back, you're gonna be super smooth and you're gonna love it." And all I could think of was, "No, I'm really gonna hate it. I do not like smooth, hairless skin. That's why I've never shaved any part of my body ever. I love body hair, and it's distressing to me to not have body hair." And it just kind of was like, I'm not your regular clientele. I'm not. I'm not here to remove the hair because I want to. I'm here because I have to be. So that all just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And I left feeling really, really depressed. I was depressed for about a week, like severely upset, bawling a lot because I just couldn't wrap my head around the 2 years. Because I'd already waited, it's been 2 years almost of paperwork. If it's another 2 years of hair removal and then a couple years of surgery with with the amount of time in between each surgery, that's a long time. It's a long time. And I'm ready to just move on with my life. And oh, she also said, you know, I don't want you booking your surgery date and rushing me. So don't book your surgery date. I'm going to tell you 2 years, so book your surgery date after 2 years because I don't want you rushing me. And I just went like, you don't know how this works, clearly. Like, it just all really upset me. So I went home and I discussed with my parents. I was really distressed. I was so upset. And I was like, I don't understand why I will take 2 years. I don't think I have that much more hair than all these other people I've seen and talked to. I don't think that it's going to take that long. And I just couldn't calm down. I was really upset. And then I started calling pretty much every hair removal place in the area, and all of them were kind of saying the same thing. They're all saying, oh, it takes years and years, and they wouldn't book a consultation. They're like, no, we can't help you. And I was starting to really get upset because I was like, well, I need someone to do it. Someone has to do it, or I can't have surgery. So I decided to just stop. I decided to enjoy my Christmas. This was in December. I decided to just enjoy my Christmas and leave it. I was like, I'm going to go to my consultation in Montreal, and then I'm going to listen to what the surgeon has to say, and then come back afterward, because then I'll have a timeline of when they're expecting me to have surgery, and then be able to go to whoever I decided to go to and say, this is the timeline that we have to work in. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you that it has to get done in this time frame. And that was my mistake, was asking people how long it will take instead of saying, this is what I need to happen. Can you make it happen? So anyway, I also, just before my consultation, I tapped into all of my connections in the community and said, any trans people who have had any kind of laser or electrolysis, mostly trans women, not a lot of people have had phalloplasty where I am, but there's lots of trans women who have had hair removed from their face. So I was just asking trans people, where have you had good experiences with hair removal? And I pretty much got a consensus of one salon, and it was the only one I hadn't called yet. And um, so I called them after my consultation in Montreal. I called them up immediately and said, I need a consultation as soon as possible. I'm having surgery. I need to get rid of the hair on my forearm. They said, sure. I went in. I showed them the area that was having hair removed. I was clear. I said, like, what was going to happen and why this was being removed. No questions asked. The girl was like, yeah, sure, cool. Yeah, I understand. And, that's common to have hair removed for surgery and everything, and I was clear about what kind of surgery I was having. She didn't bat an eye, didn't ask any inappropriate questions, didn't ask any questions because that's not what she's there for. This is the first time I've been to any place mentioned that I'm trans and not had a some kind of medical-ish professional ask questions. She didn't ask any questions because that's not what she's there for. And it was really professional, really awesome, and she was so friendly. And I just we tried to book a time and our schedules weren't lining up, and then she said, you know what, I'll make room for you if you're able to come in tomorrow morning. And I said, sure, I'll come in tomorrow morning. So she like pushed back some of her other appointments in order to fit me in the morning so we could start as soon as possible. And also it's much cheaper at this salon. The electrolysis is more expensive per hour. That's how electrolysis works. It's per hour. It's anywhere between like $55 and $75 I've seen in my area at least. This salon is $70 an hour. But the laser, she suggested the same thing, that I have at least 3 treatments of laser. We'll see how much hair kind of disappears with that, and then go in with electrolysis. She said if it's really reacting well, we'll continue with laser as long as possible to get rid of as much hair, because electrolysis, like I said, more painful, more expensive. So she gave me a much shorter time frame. She said we can probably do it in 10 to 12 months. She said 14 is like maximum, and that's only if my hair doesn't respond the way it's supposed to. But she said we can probably do it. So I'm saving money here because they have everything, like it's a busier salon, so they had all the charts of prices laid out. And it was like forearms are $220 because I'm only doing one, it's $110. And then each subsequent treatment of laser after that is cut by 50%. So I'm saving tons of money. The other places I was talking to were like $300 a laser treatment, and that was insane. So yeah, I'm just really happy. So basically, I had my first treatment of laser. It's going to be very hard to see on this camera. I have stopped, we're right about here, hair-wise. It's hard to see, like here. I went farther than I was supposed to just to be safe, but you can kind of see the difference here with the hair. Also, lucky enough for me, the most important part is right here, because that's what's used for your urethra. I'm bald there, so I don't have to have hair removed from there at all. So that's perfect. The rest of it is not as important because it's not going to be inside, it's going to be the outside of the phallus. So anyway, the surgeon was like, you're completely bald here, so you don't need to have hair removed from there. So I'm basically good to go for surgery whenever, because that is what they're looking at, is that space right there. The rest of it, they said, if I don't get the rest of it done in time, it can be done after surgery. Obviously not ideal, but it can be done, and I would take an earlier surgery date if it meant having hair removal on my new penis. I don't really care. Yeah, so that's basically my experience. I've only had one treatment of laser. You have to wait about 6 to 8 weeks before you can have a second treatment. Basically waiting for the hair to regrow enough for the next treatment to happen. Yeah, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Not many people talk about this stage, or if they do, they kind of brush over it, and this was like really distressing to me to try and find somewhere that would do it. And like I didn't know what any of this was. I had no idea how laser worked, so I might make another video just like going into more detail than that, but this is like already pretty long. So that was my experience trying to find a salon that would do it. yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I really want to talk about phalloplasty, like emotionally, what I'm going through, and kind of trying to wrap my head around this surgery. So if you have any questions or anything specifically you want to know, please ask me because I'll make a video. Um, yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.